was around 16 to third, Ren Lodge fourth.
Perfect mix of poetry and destruction. This glory of rhythm, power and majesty. The undisputed champion of the world, Frankel, wins the Goodwood International. The Stars comes alongside Master Craftsman, eyeballs it and goes on, and it's 4 Group 1s.
I'm probably delighted he's decided to retire.
Good evening. Welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, it's the final day of the Ebor Festival, and we're all looking forward to that. But added to the intro there, a bit of spice there, as Richard Fay is delighted that Paul Hannigan is retiring from the saddle, as he said on Racing TV earlier. Unbelievable comments, really. But I think he just got it all messed up, personally, but it was funny. Joining me this evening, then, to go through the final day of York and other TV races elsewhere down Goodwood are John Lang, Andy Richmond and Nick Davis. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Good evening, yeah. Special mention for Nick this week because he's done best out of Bar Stewards so far. John's got a couple to run, but Nick has managed a win with warm heart in the Yorkshire Oaks, and he managed a nice place. And really, it was soul destroying, Nick. That wasn't it. Point liners for you. You know, we were all on it, and it's like, and of course George Margerson comes. Anyway,
Rosie guest.
Yeah, I know.
He's not so rude. He said George after the race.
Yeah, we shouted him over after the race, Margerson. Yeah, we were like celebrating with Margerson, bizarrely, and we'd all back the second. In true Bar Stewards style. Yeah, Ed Chamberlain popped over as well. It was good. Yeah, good chat with Ed.
And we had a steak.
We did indeed. It was a quality steak at the Whip It Inn, and anyone frequenting York must visit the Whip It Inn because they do some very good cuts there, dry aged and whatnot. And on the specials, that's worth a look on their specials board. That was very good. But anyway, enough waffling. We'll get on with the show, and hopefully we can resoundingly finish off the week with a profit. I'm very determined to, because I've not had the best of weeks, and I'm determined to put that right. So, chaps, this is the 1 to 3 points round, and I'm intrigued at where you're all going to go. So, Nick, I'm going to come to you because you are the man in form. Well, you're picking up form. I can see some life.
Well, yeah, apart from millions of seconds the last couple of weeks. Right then. We're going to go to the 1920 at Windsor tomorrow night.
Yep.
And we're going to go with the Owen Burrows trained Hala Dubai. I think last time out it might have been a case of it's had quite a few runs. You know, it's his fourth run in about 2.5 months, and he's a bit below form. But he's back on good to firm with King's Coat there tomorrow. And you've got to look at his 2 seconds in view of today's race. It's a big drop in class. He's been second to Dragon Icon, who's now rated 95, and you've got second to Umbesto, who's rated about 110.
Yeah.
All on good to firm. Last time, he's a bit keen on the outside. He's probably going to get a lead tomorrow from someone, and King's Coat's back on. Even last time he was in Handicap, where, well, they're all rated in the 80s, and tomorrow they're all rated in the 70s. I think it's an ideal spot to get him off. On the way, a big drop in class, and if those 2 runs at Doncaster and Lingford are correct, he could have a few pounds in hand here if there was something wrong at Goodwood.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually an edge bet for us, if you remember, last time at Goodwood. And yeah, like you say, he didn't have a nice trip round, really. So it's an interesting case you made. Obviously, he was an edge bet last time on Bar Stewards Edge. So 5 to 1 is available with Bet365. But it's not
a great race, is it?
No, it's the right spot for him to get his head in front. He's better than these, and I agree. But obviously, we need more prices to come out from the books, who seem to be sleepy this evening and not producing prices. So, but Hala Dubai will sort Nick's price out when they all come out and give him a fair crack of the whip. Two rule books, John.
Of course, as ever.
What is your 1 pointer, sir?
I'm enjoying that York so much. I'm off to the curry. 6:10 Irish Cambridgeshire.
Mm.
Zabia has been badly ridden at least twice this when backed. Nothing worse than last time. I think it was Colin Kane Road. He seemed to think he'd been booked to ride against an interceptor rather than a racehorse. He can clearly win off this mark, and for a change, he might have some pace to run at the Curragh.
Mm.
Sporting Pork at a pony, 1 point win.
Yeah, 25's Bet365, Coral, Spoil Sports, Star Sports, and Entain as well, I believe. Ladbrokes are going that, and yes, and Coral are as well. So there we go. A lovely start there with a pony shot and a 5 shot at least, hopefully, from Nick Davies. Andy Richmond, where are we going for your 1 pointer?
We're going to stay at York. We're going very last race. The fight. One of my favourite trainers for this year, young Ed Bethel. And Oviedo, I think that's how you would say it.
Or Oviedo, something like that.
Oviedo, yeah.
Old friend of mine, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I like it on this ground. If you look at its form, when he was third in the Acomb last year, that race has worked out incredibly well.
Yes.
Caldine or Caldine, isn't it? They call it. 2,000 guineas. Indestructible won the Craven. Millstreams won a listed race. Shaquille needs no introduction. That was in that race as well. Of course, it won the Zeppelin Gold Cup at Redcar back in May. Strong, ran a decent race at Royal Ascot last time out. Not sure the ground was right for it in that Stevenson Stakes at Newbury behind the enigmatic Al Arce. But he has won a Group 3 since, whether you thought that was a good ride or not. Lucky Jim got out of it. And I think back in handicap company, 3-year-old getting a little bit of weight off. Couldn't see too many in front of the handicapper here. Price thieves are starting to nibble at it already, but I think there's some 8s around. Sporting Point at 8-1.
Yes, 8-1 indeed, and a good case made there. Bet365 and Hills, and also no, I'm not going to mention them. Bet365 and Hills, that's it. And well, there is bad.
Who are you going to mention that you didn't?
Bet UK.
I knew you'd mention them eventually.
Yeah, sponsored. People say we're sponsored now. 8-1 Oviedo for Andy. Good selection. Yeah, my 1 pointer goes in the 3 o'clock. That's the City of York. And I felt that Isaac Shelby was a little bit big. You look at the Goodwood run with Kinross, and there's a neck between them. Yes, I did felt Kinross would have pulled out more well in hand. But let's face it, he's 2-1 on quicker ground. And Isaac Shelby, the way he moves, I think he's going to be better on quicker ground. And I think that 13-2 is too big. If you're saying Kinross is 2-1, then I don't think Isaac Shelby can be 13-2. So that's the reasoning. I had a chat with John about this race earlier, and he thinks there'll be sort of like a pace, real good pace on. And I think Isaac's one of them that does travel very kindly, doesn't have to make the running, can just sit in behind. And I think that's the right trip tomorrow. Just sat behind the ensuing pace. So that's where I am for a 1 point win. Isaac Shelby. Just the down point is the trainer, Brian Meehan. But he has had a winner today, John.
Good.
That you've backed. Yes. Old John was telling me off this week. He says, well, I like Isaac Shelby, but it's Brian Meehan, isn't it? Then this afternoon, what does John go and do? He sat there on his laptop and he's playing away. And I saw what you backed here, John. Only the bloody maiden winner against the odds-on shot of Godolphins. And I says, well, it's trained by Brian Meehan. He says, if you'd have told me that 15 seconds earlier, I wouldn't have backed it. He just went on looks, didn't you, behind stalls? Yeah, literally. Yeah, incredible stuff. So yeah, Isaac Shelby for me, hopefully to finish York on a good note. But I have one more at York that's a max bet, and that's coming up from me later. So John, kick us off with round 2.
240 at Goodwood, Epic Titus. He's done nothing wrong all year. The trainer and his godless son have been the ones doing things wrong by running him over too far a trip.
Yes.
Back at his right trip, he picked Nostrum off last and he should find this no more difficult than that assignment. Skid mark in the saddle, probably the only worry, so taking 3-1 about this idiot being able to navigate an 8-runner fail, really. 2 points win.
Yeah, 100-30 actually with Paddy's and Betfair. Yeah.
Oh.
Brucey Burness on Epictetus. And I'm going to follow him with a Klaxon. The asthmatic horse has arrived for the 2-point round. Epictetus, also my selection for the reasons John's given. Definitely a mile and not a 10 furlong horse. And secondly, we feel as a group really that Aldari has gone at the game. The last run for me was pretty lamentable. It was his conditions. We expected a big run. I know it was against Paddington, and but the French horse went sluice past it as if it was stood still. I don't think he's the horse he was. The ground's not going to be as soft, probably, as long as the thunderstorms stay away, as soft as he'd like. And for the same reason as John, Epictetus, also my 2-pointer. The asthmatic horse may wheeze away. Andy Richmond, your 2-pointer.
Right, Ebor time. Told you I was going to do this. Right, I'm going to split the stakes because I can't decide between the two, but I'm going to go with Real Dream first of all. Trying to give the Baron his 4th win in the race since 1996. Really like this horse, Real Dream. I'm not worried about the draw at all. Won at Kempton back in May, over 1.5 miles. Stayed on well at York at the Dante fixture in that York Handicap, which I think was a decent run. Gave him a bit of a break, brought him back, absolutely smashed home at Ascot last time out, over 1.6 miles on good soft. He'll handle the ground today, doesn't really matter. I think the mark of 91 is a little bit undercooking him. I can see him being 100 horse, well over 100 horse in time. So I'm not worried about the draw. So he certainly was one I wanted to be with. And the Irish do well in this. I do think they ran. I wasn't really sure why they ran Moricana in that Galtries yesterday. Was it yesterday? Wasn't it? Should have run her in this race because I certainly would have been backing her. But hey ho. But we've gone with one of Mr. Mullins's. Not Willie's in the bumper. Willie's in the Ebor. It's won the race before, but Absurd. Dual winner in France when trained there. Got bought for what, €260,000 on the sale last year. Was absent and then switched to the flat after a run over hurdles for Mullins, and he was a very good second to Vauban, that Copper Horse Handicap, and I'm not sure they really wanted him to get any closer than he actually did, and got beat 7.5 lengths. Probably needs to learn to settle a bit better, but I think in a field like this you should be able to settle him away. Has run over hurdles since, but it was a bit of a disappointing effort. But as I say, Mullins has won this before back in 2009 with Sasanta, and I will keep a point on Absurd. So I'm going to split the 2 points, point on Absurd and a point on Real Dream.
Yeah, that's 10-1 Real Dream with Betfair, and Paddy's 8-1 Absurd generally available. Just want to mention, if you're not subscribing to our Patreon service, do it, because Nick Davis has tipped Real Dream anti-purse at 12s the other week, and this is the thing, you get some edges, and the content is well worth the money on its own without the bets. Andy does some fantastic columns, John with his Sunday column, myself with my own. He honestly, you can absolutely learn plenty from it all, really. It's all our hard work going into it, and it's only £7 a month. That's the main thing. £7 a month, it's nothing. It's a pint in a London boozer, so buy us a pint.
Pint for £7 in a London, but you're lucky to get a pint in a Manchester boozer for £7.
These days, I know it's terrible. I know. Begging bowl out there.
Yeah.
So Nick Davis, I'm coming to you for your 2-point round bet, please.
Right, and I'm going to the 410 at York. Whilst I regard John's anti-post on Summerhand, I've got to, with the draw, have a go at Mum's Tipple. If you throw out that Goodwood run, it's been really consistent all year. The Ascot run, 1.5 lengths behind St Lawrence. It's been in brilliant form apart from on softish ground this year. It's won a Chelmsford Handicap, 4th to Diligent Harry at Newcastle, and the Ascot run behind St Lawrence. If Low holds up tomorrow, then I think it's ideally drawn. And it's a very big price, 18-1. If it hadn't run behind Goodwood, it would have been. It's got its lifetime performances as well, so we know it goes there. and I think that's very, very big, 18-1.
It certainly can be an horses for courses, York. You saw with the Nunthorpe winner today that, you know, if you get out and away and cleanly, and you run that first furlong or 2 furlongs you just keep rolling. Yeah, at 18-1, I can go with that, Nick.
I mean, I would have been with some hand if the 20, just the 20 stall.
Yeah,
Because John must have been cursing when that come out for his anti-post bet, wasn't he?
he was a bit, but I mean, John, we talked about this today that we feel that it's kind of weird at the moment. Sometimes Lur's playing its part this week, like in the Nunthorpe. The stand side never got into it. Maybe that was a pace thing. But there was the Jim Crack, for example, today. The two that finished first and second were both stands rail or towards the stands rail. Maybe it's just.
I think the pace is pretty even across the track into Melrose race, actually, Mick.
Yeah.
Significantly in 19. Waggier win 10, along with Lethal Levi, who'll go very close from this position, and Anthem National in stall 4. So I think there's an even spread of pace, actually.
But you'd preferred not to have been on 20.
I'd rather been in the middle, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
I just thought at the prices in the draw, I thought Mumstead was overpriced. They're taking into account.
I thought the best chance of a pace war was Wagger when Lethal Levi up the centre.
Yeah.
No. So Nick, 18-1, very good case to finish off the round. So you're 2 on the nose, Nick, yes?
No, point each way there, I think.
Point each way. I can give you fair's fair here and all that in Love and War. It's 5 places. I can't give you the 6.
That's fine. 5 places, that's fine.
Yeah, point each way for Nick. The biggest bet round. We love this round. Everyone loves this round. Andy Richmond, kick us off.
You know where I'm going.
I do. I really do.
I mean, what is my favourite 3-year-old handicap of the year?
Yes.
Melrose. And after last year, which I think we were just about all on, I think that was a foghorn, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah, we were all like buzzing. He was superb.
I've got to stay with the shirt again because him and Mr. Balding have split the last 4 runnings of this.
But which one?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be clever. I'm going to have to back because both of them have appeared in the BTB column, which I shall give myself a pat on the back. Landed a rather nice double earlier in the week with Mercy and Najiri.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Mr. The man in the ATR did me pricing there, Mr. Hugh, did me pricing on that one, but hey ho. Right, I favour Lordship marginally. I thought that 3-year-old handicap that he won last time out. I mean, there were 6 last time out winners in that. It's another race that had targets as well. He'd been a winner of his previous 2 races. I think those are really strong races. You look at his sectionals as well, which I detailed in the column at the time. And as we say, Haggis is no stranger to success in the Melrose, but he seems to have come up with another one in this Alhambra Palace, which was another horse I'd highlighted not long ago from his race at Ascot. Don't often put winners in there, but he was very, very impressive on that day. Again, some smashing sectionals in there. Followed up very quickly, quite unusual for him to bring a horse out quickly under a penalty and really heavy ground at Sandown. But the horse coped with it really well. Just looks as though we're going on improving. I'd say I narrowly favour Lordship over Alhambra Palace, so I'm going to go 2 points on Lordship and a point on Alhambra Palace at the best prices. And just for information purposes, I will be doing 2 doubles with I can't resist the Ebor and the Melrose.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what makes York sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all love to get the Ebor and Melrose winners. And Lordship for you, then 2 points, that's 4-1, pretty much generally available. And 1 point on Alhambra, 6-1 with William Hill and Coral. You can get 7 with Bet365, but obviously, that's just a standout price. So good stuff. So that's Andy with the Melrose hopefully sorted. So chaps, are we in agreement? So I'll go next if you like. For me, this is a max bet. We go to the Roses Stakes. And I just look at this betting, it's completely wrong. It's miles out. I promise you it's miles out. If I'm wrong, I'll fall on my socks. I'll do my bollocks. But 7-2 for Bahia. It was 5-1 earlier today, and I was like absolutely... I was like jumping out my skin thinking, this is a monster play. 7-2 still good. I have him about 2-1 jolly. Forget Purasang and Bahia's form at Goodwood, or Purasang finish in front of it. Watch the race about a furlong out. What's travelling better? Bahia. Travelling all over it, right? Didn't handle the soft ground one iota. By Memas out of a Society Rock mare. This horse is all speed. Real travelling speed. And what does York suit? Travelling speed. And this has got it. Speed is what you need, like Mickey said in Rocky. When Rocky's chasing chicken, speed is what you need. So Bahia is just a terrific bet. I'll be very disappointed on the floor if this gets beat. This is the optimum conditions for the horse. It's fast. It's a class act. In fact, Hannon at one point, despite him calling it a hooligan, said it was potentially the best 2-year-old he's trained. That's the claim he made. He said what this horse does at home. So obviously, the horse hasn't behaved properly on the track. So that's the risk. I'm not bothered about Purasang. I'm not bothered about anything. It's just whether this horse does what he can do. 7-2, get on, 3 points. Lovely job, like that is a big bet for me tomorrow. And I put my money where my mouth is. I've sent people out backing this now. So it's a case of, do we get paid, or am I on the floor, or am I an idiot? But anyway, that's where we go. That's my max. Following Andy's Melrose bet. Nick, coming to you.
Right then, what happens? This horse is engaged on Saturday and Sunday, and I want to back him whenever it runs.
Well, we can put you on the... we can do the race then, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I was like, right then, there's a lot spoken about, bless him, that he needs big fields, this, that, the strong place. He doesn't. If you look at all his runs where he's won, what's happened is that the field has split into groups, and he's come on to beat 7 runners and 8 runners. He doesn't need, even in his Britannia win, they were following other course, and his Newmarket win last year, I think he beat 7 runners home. What he needs is a decent gallop, and what he needs is decent ground. He's going to get good ground tomorrow. If you cross off the Baradar wrong, it was on the wrong side last time out, where he came up there. He's 101. He's well capable of winning off that. He beat Ropey Guest last year off 101. In the Bunbury, he led Biggles over this near side before Biggles running a few out of him. He was up the arse. Him and Ropey Guest, I think, virtually went past the post together at this side. He's in decent form. And what I think here, I think there'll be a medium pace. But what happens at Goodwood, you've got a cutaway. And what happens, I've noticed a lot of cutaways. There's a lot of people panic at a cutaway. They suddenly dash inside, dash side, and they start dashing. This will provide a deal for him. There's plenty of time to get a run, and he'll follow him through with his cruising speed. And he's a big price tomorrow, and I think he's a big price on Sunday. But I just want where he's going to run. I'm desperate to back him this week.
Well, that's what we'll do. Currently, he's 10-1 tomorrow.
Yeah.
In the Goodwood race there, and the Goodwood Sunday is 6-1. The rule will be for your bet, if he runs tomorrow,
yeah, you
get the bet tomorrow. If he also turns up Sunday, you don't get the bet on Sunday.
No. But just if he whatever he turns, if he turns up,
yeah. So that's the proviso.
Can't I have it just if he wins?
Martingale, stopper to winner. Yeah. Are we saying 3 points win, Nick, on the nostrils?
3 points win on the nostrils there. You've got the doctor up for the first time, and I think these conditions would be ideal for him.
Yeah, so that's 10-1 Saturday and 6-1 Sunday. So you know the rules there, folks.
Yeah.
If they scratch him Saturday and he runs Sunday, then you're on Sunday's price. If he runs Saturday, we don't count it as a winner if he runs Sunday and wins, although Nick will probably still back him if he runs well Saturday. Yeah, we get it. But yeah, for Daps Tale purposes, that's how it will work. Jonas, good stuff, Nick. Finish us off, please.
My 3-point bet runs at Goodwood
in
the 205. And this is Carla's Way. There's a lot been written about this horse in our columns and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Since an electrifying debut at Doncaster. The Albany was a fiasco. She should never have run in that, given how she behaved at Doncaster. Since then, she's had a wind up and plenty of time to get settled down. If you weren't happy with the way things were going, you would never come here. If this horse was doing too much in hand at home, the last thing you'd be doing is hiking her up in trip on a course where it'd be dead easy to get lit up.
Yeah.
Unless these are fucking idiots, which I don't think they are.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
It's not. You couldn't rule it out entirely, but I mean, what I've seen most of the season, I don't think they are quite stupid enough to do something like that. There's massive untapped potential here. I think if this settles, this is 6 lengths better than these. And as Elvis said, it's now or never. 3 points win.
I like it. Yeah, 3-1 generally available, John, for you. And I hope it does, because you were beaming about this in terms of... I mean,
she made an enormous impression on debut, doing everything wrong.
In fact, there were a few debutantes since I've known you where you were waxing lyrical about this, and not after play either, pre-play. You said to me, "This is absolutely dynamite. She is absolutely top class." I can remember it, and it blew me away. It convinced me to back it, and I couldn't believe how keen she were on debut. Like how she won that the way she did, being as keen as she was on debut. I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is some tool to do this.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, next time the runner at Ascot didn't settle her down, and she's, like you said, she's blown a gasket.
It was a fiasco. It was an absolute fiasco. I mean, if I've got everything sorted out, I think she'll absolutely monster these.
Pink monster.
Yes, of course.
Another shameless plug. Pink Monster energy drink.
Tonight's 3-point tip is brought to you with association
with Pink Monster.
Monster Ultra Rosa. Send as many free tins as you can.
Fantastic. Love all the selections tonight, chaps, because as always, research is premium. You all do your work, which is why we do okay at the game. Right, we're coming on to the TV rounds now, and there's only 7 tomorrow, which surprised me. I thought they might stretch it out a bit, but obviously
6 too many then, isn't
it? Yeah, at least they didn't bother with HQ, which pleased me. But anyway, right, so,
that gas bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah, back to the Rowley Mile. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the Rowley Mile's not much better, but a bit better. 2
off tomorrow night.
Which is weird, right? It's weird because Nick tipped up put one at Windsor tomorrow, potentially. It's kind of a sad meeting for the bar stewards, this one, because Windsor signifies the end of night racing on the turf, which is like just sad in a way. Then all the jumps
pulling in, you know. I
mean, the jump boys
runs on the telly and nasty cheap or little hot chocolate and shit like that, you know, for the jump season.
I'm hoping they rerun like old binders again and like the professionals early season. Yeah.
Big Deal's the one we want to get on.
Big Deal it is, but right, do you know what happened with that? So Big Deal ran 3 series.
Yeah, Bobby Bot.
And I always wondered what happened to Series 3. Now, I have got a copy of all 3 series, but the problem is Season 3 was actually damaged. The record, I think there's some kind of water leak or something in the BBC. The Season 3, that's why I don't think they show it, because Season 3 is like damaged. So you get this interference throughout some episodes for like 20 minutes and be like bad interference on the tape. It's on DVD, I've got it, but yeah. So I reckon that's why they've never shown it, because they can never show the 3 series.
You can make up for it by showing a series of Mr. Ben at the end, couldn't you? Because Robbie Box was Mr. Ben, wasn't he?
Mr. Ben was top class.
He was the voice of Mr. Ben.
Yeah. I mean, the shopkeeper,
You reckon we'd have got a bet on in Gills, the book? Yeah.
Someone said to me when I posted some big deal links up and obviously reminiscing, and somebody said, "Yeah, if you were in that, you'd be Kipper." The one in the leather jacket, like the idiot, in the bookies. I thought, thanks for that. But yeah, there was Ferret with the greyhound.
Yeah,
and he was fantastic. There was, like I said, Gil behind the counter was amazing. And Nick, I'm coming to you because you do some fabulous 80 stories on Patreon. Was that not the atypical cashier of the 1980s?
Yeah, but he'd be scratching his bollocks all the time, or with his, you had elastic band around your money.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, elastic band. The old boys elastic bands around their money, and they rip it, and they go, "Oh, can you put that? How can you take that together?" Yeah. And consequently, notes in betting shops used to be all kinds of states. Yeah, the sellotape out trying to stick it together. Oh, dear. I want that one. You gave it to me, you bastard. And
no, honestly, that's why I love things like that, nostalgia.
You think all the regulars shag that cashier in the betting shop?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, Nick would. Like a rat up a drain pipe, Nick.
If it was an excerpted programme, I could tell, but we might go on the Wednesday thing. We might have a few stories.
Gil was like a 1980s council estate version of Jeff Banks. He just literally is, a complete bastard.
Snakeskin Dunlop trainers instead of the platforms.
Yeah.
You could do a series on programs that had a betting shop in. Coronation Street had a betting shop for a while, didn't it?
Yeah. This is it. It's weird how gambling has been sullied by the incredibly boring people that are trying to get this cancelled.
Well, I think on the next Wednesday show we'll have to tell the Bourbon story.
We shall, and of course, again, coming back to Patreon again, I need to plug it because it's good. It's good. We are good at what we do. And next Wednesday is the return of Midweek Madness, and of course, these shows will contain such stories of the past, and that's what it's all about: living the life as we did. And we feel sorry for the younger punters that don't get to form the friendships that we've forged over the years. Very nostalgic tonight's show. Anyway, right, TV previews time, of course. 205 Goodwood. Langer has gone for Carla's Way. And yes, I'm with him. If he's so confident on this, I'm very much with him because he told me this on debut before they were at 2 minutes before they went in the stalls. He told me, and I was blown away by it. I said, bloody hell, this has got some talent. So yeah, I'm very interested in Carla's Way. Nick, Andy, anything to add on to Jonas's big bet?
2-year-old right.
2-year-olds in Fillies. Nick's not going to have anything. The one I did think was just a tad overpriced, and Rafe Ralph has had I nearly bumped into him yesterday at York, actually. Rafe.
Oh, you had a lucky escape.
Or was it Ralph? I don't know.
Well, don't call him that.
I just thought that Forever Blue was a little bit overpriced. Looked a useful filly, and she did he had a treble at Foss Last this afternoon as well. Rafe, so the stable's in good form. That was the only other one I thought was just a little bit.
Yeah, authorised mare, encouraging she could win over 6 on debut, even though it was heavy.
Yeah. And John, you mentioned today to me about Beckett seems to be the man for the 2-year-old fillies.
I have noticed he really does condition these fillies well. You know, it's very rare you see any of his looking like gutted herrings or a bit ribby or anything like that. He just keeps condition on the fillies good. He's he could be the new Henry Cecil for fillies.
Interesting, yeah. The producer loves a gutted herring.
Yeah. It's a little bit overpriced. There's some 15-2 with Denise, which I thought was a little bit over the top. As well, and she did go forward on her debut, but no guarantee that she's going to do that this time, of course. But from that sort of draw over 7 furlongs, I thought they would. And as John said, He does condition his fillies very well, and I always look at them at the sort of back end of the season as well. They seem to hold their form well. This one I thought overpriced.
So something that consider punters that we speak of Mr. Beckett rather highly, both of them. We think that I agree, Andy, that could be an interesting danger to Carla's way. Right, we go to the 240 with the Celebration Mile. Myself and Jonas are unanimous here on Epictetus. What are we saying, Nick and Andy?
There's one thing one little slight doubt with Epictetus. It's on the Friday of that Goodwood meeting was when the rail come out, and Dettori rode a great race. They had fresh ground on the rail. Do you remember we talk about it? Goodwood Friday, you get fresh ground on the inside, and he hugged it. I thought under the circumstances that Knight ran a pretty decent race. He tried to make up grounds off a pace where it was just tossing up. I'm not sure he can reverse it, but I wouldn't lose on him if I was there, because he's drawn in 2 tomorrow with Doyle on. Epictetus is drawn out in 6. So it might be a little bit of a different setup tomorrow. Random Harvest is, of course, going to lead. And we're going to have dear old Safi if she can get home in front. We're loving. But I wouldn't... Epictetus would be the pick, but I wouldn't lose on the race on Knight.
Yeah, and at the price, I'm not going to argue with that. I think Knight will finish a bit closer. For the same arguments I use about Isaac Shelby and Kinross, maybe not as much. I don't think Knight can reverse form, but I do think it will be closer. So that's a good shout, Nick. Andy?
I'm rowing with all you boys, Epictetus. Look, the one, I just thought if I was going to have anything to trade in the race, then it would be Random Harvest who will get the sole pace. And the market does tend to react quite quickly to front runners around Goodwood. Whether it's good enough to get home is another matter. Don't think it is, but I think the market will react to it if you're in for a little bit of a trade. Random Harvest, because it is the sole pace, and the market will react quite well. But I think Epictetus is the obvious one, and I say I wouldn't be going against it.
Fair point.
I don't think Goodwood's the greatest place for front runners when they have that cutaway, though, because they do tend to spread out and give them a chance. So when it's on the inside rail, they all to be there, and you can get a lot more trouble in running. They do fan out a lot more when there's a cutaway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it becomes like no racing line, as in So anything can win. Typical slop Goodwood. One right, York. It's York time, people. This is the good bit. Well, we hope anyway. 150 is the Skybet and Symphony Group Strensall Stakes, and John Lang very confident in his 2-1 anti-purse prediction, Nostrum, putting these to the sword. And who am I to disagree with this? Because he's been beat by Epictetus, who we've tipped up for the Celebration Mile. If you look at the form at Newmarket before that, he absolutely destroyed Embester, which has dead-eated since in a Group 3. New Endeavour has come out and finished second to Witch Hunter in the Hungerford. So this is very, very strong form. And Nostrum, to me, I think, I won't use the word point and shoot, because they'd never point this and shoot it. They would sit fairly handy. But I think Nostrum will win this. And at 5-4, if I can get 5-4 on the machine on the shows, I'm a backer. I will back this on the shows.
I think this race, a lot depends on this race, is what happens, how early does Fight Plan and Nostrum hook up? That's what I think will happen in this race. When will the Burke one put it to him, and how early will probably decide what happens to the whole shape of the race. The Burke
runners this week have run shit. They've run absolutely shit. I mean, I'm just going back through now. So the York runners are Burke. So 23rd of August, right? So 8th, 14th, 4th, 10th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 15th, 8th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 4th, 16th, 6th, 13th. He's had a 9-4, 5, a 7-2, an 11-2. Nothing's ran well. all week.
My angle in the race is that if I'd have a bet, it would be Nostrum to beat Jimi Hendrix, who got an awful ride at Ascot last time out.
Yeah.
When Dougie Costello had a brain fart in the Aldari race, you remember? It was just, he made up ground massively on the outside, went into the lead, and then sort of dropped dead. I mean, I think this is played late. It's the ideal setup for Jimi Hendrix. I don't think he can meet Nostrum, but it's the ideal setup that he likes racing away for other horses so he can challenge wide on his own in this field.
Yeah, well, do remember that Jimi Hendrix ran 236 in the in the Young Cup. I mean, I'd love an handicapper's guide to the galaxy on that one. You know, like with the far side. You know, you'd have to. But Ascot does seem like that. It seems quite weird. But me and John think that could also be down to the carriage tracks as well down the course. Because if you look. Some of the Ascot races, a lot of them run on the carriage tracks and seem to run faster. It could be that. It could be anything as daft as that. Who knows?
It's Prince Andrew chasing schoolgirls in the carriages on upstairs.
Well, there you go. Did Prince Andrew show up at Royal Ascot?
No.
No, I don't. Well,
You had to use the underground walkway to get into the private suite. They couldn't risk eggs, could they, in the carriages?
I love this shit. Andy, anything to add on the Strensall? A strong opinion?
Going to say anything to add on the Prince Andrew? Probably not. I think John summed it up quite well.
Yeah.
Not particularly. I thought Nostrum. I mean, John put it up earlier in the week on the Wednesday, Tuesday show, whatever. I can't remember now. Lost track of the days in this week. Got the price was 2-1 then. I played it at that sort of price, so I'm happy.
John.
I wouldn't be looking anywhere else now. Let's put it that way.
No, John's bouncing right now at the 2-1. I'll still take 5-4 tomorrow. So for punters, that's what I'm doing. The 225. Andy set his stall out nice and early. He's got his stall outside York there, selling the Melrose bets, which are Lordship and Alhambra for the shirt. I'll just offer a slight alternative, possibly. Middle Earth for John and Thady, and an indifferent Oisin Murphy at the moment. I'll be honest. I'm not enamoured by his riding at the moment, but this horse could be slightly underrated. Lion's Pride, don't forget, he's entering the Group 3. Is it listed or Group 3? I don't know. Windsor, anyway, tomorrow night. And Middle Earth, like pace in that, because that horse wasn't suited to that race, how slowly run it was. Don't forget, Middle Earth beat the Gert in that. The Gert came out on the bog and did the thing. Middle Earth then beat Nakib, who's won by 10 lengths in a maiden since, and Morrissey was 9 lengths back in third, and Morrissey normally runs to about 75 without winning. So you can pretty set your watch by that Middle Earth might be all right here. Might be a little bit high on 99, but I just felt that this had the looks and would improve for the step up in trip. Denmark was another contender. First time blinds. That is the dark one. If that starts about 16 on the machine, you know the lads aren't really interested in it. If that's a gamble tomorrow, then I would be seriously looking at Denmark as a way into the race. John, where are you seeing the Melrose?
I'm seeing the Melrose from the box with you, I hope.
Well, we'll try. Yeah.
I think you won't be surprised to learn that I've had a few quid on our friend Brian's horse, Chile.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, the case to be made for Chile is that you go back to Haydock on the 8th of July and a grotesquely ridden Chile gets beat just 9 lengths by Lordship, giving Lordship £4. Now, the weights are flipped by a stone today. There's more pace on here, which ought to suit Chile, given that he would be asked to come from us a pace. Previously, an eye catcher at Chester over a mile and a half, held up late progress over 12. And the big plus, say quietly in case Jesse's listening. Robinson off, Beasley on.
Cole Beasley on, the Green Bay Packer. Love him.
I mean, whatever you think, Chibi's overpriced.
Yeah.
I'd make him a 12 or 14 poke here.
Yeah, it's an interesting case you made. Yeah, I like that. I do like Davideo as a horse as well in this.
You might get a softie.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I don't like front runners in the Melrose. Traditionally, in the Melrose, you don't want to be making the pace. No. But this is a horse that interests me because it got terribly ridden at Ascot. It won. It bounced back to form last time under the train driver, and gets Frankie on today. I think they've always held this in high regard. Bearing in mind that this has had a ledger entry, so they do hold this in big regard. So Davideo was interesting also to add to that. Nick, anything to add?
Oh, it's a hard one, all right. I mean, there's only 3 that have been over the distance. See, the Haggis 2 and Chile, haven't they? They're the only that have raced over 14.
Just to interrupt, Nick, it was interesting that the shirt said today on the telly that he wanted rain for Alhambra.
Yeah, that's the one thing I had about Alhambra. Looking at it, I didn't know if it would go good to firm. I don't think it hasn't been on really ground this fast. I mean, a lot of them haven't been on ground really this fast. I mean, you could argue True Legend looks like he could go improve for a step up in trip from the last time. He got no kind of run at Goodwood. But no, I couldn't really make up my mind. I thought I'd leave it to the people who really like these 3-year-old handicaps over 14,000.
No, fair play. And obviously for the pod, we hope that Andy succeeds with his Dutch. So 3 o'clock, the City of York Stakes. Kinross is 2-1 jolly. And I made the case for Isaac Shelby being a little bit overpriced, a bit disrespected in the betting. So I'm going to bring you all in. John, you first of all.
I think there could be enough pace on here for Kinross sitting out the back, but I think Isaac Shelby with like a front 6-ish sort of sit is going to be given an advantage here. I don't think it was easy for Kinross to overhaul him. I would also put Also Hale into the mix because I think he'll be just off them as well. I think if I was having a bet, I would probably back Isaac Shelby and make sure Also Hale wasn't a loser for me.
Yeah. Cheers, John. Nick?
Oh, masses of pace there. I mean, you could lay the field at 1.1 and you might get something of a result. I mean, our old friend from the Jersey.
He will rather a bit closer, won't he, Nick? Surely.
Well, yeah, I'd hope 17-2 isn't bad in the without Kinross market. Depends on the ride it'll get. I mean, if I had to recommend a bet, it may be Olivia without Kinross. I just think she could pick. I think it's one of these races, but it could change. The league could change quite a bit within the last furlong.
Olivia Meralda was unlucky in the Jersey, as we all alluded to, but is the Jersey form up to this level?
We don't know, really, do we? It's very hard. It's very hard. I mean, let's have a look. Out of the Jersey, it's very, very hard to tell. I mean, has the winner run since?
No, winner's not run since. The third's bombed out. Streets of Gold. Holguin, that always seems to run well but get beat. The first two haven't. No, we've got no idea. The third. It was a very funny race, and she got the worst ride of the race.
Something else I think worth mentioning as well. It's only a week since Pogo ran, so he might bounce.
Well, he might take a leap forward in form also. Andy Richmond.
Can we not make a case for Muta Salbeck? I know.
No, because he likes to learn pace. He loves being left alone. He's like
a new market. Is he a new market monster?
He's a bully. he's a bully. If he gets on the front end and no one's like harassing him, he is like a quality horse. Like he'd win this. It's one of them where you get a no pace scenario in this, and he was entered. You go him, yes, because that's the key.
Over this trip, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jersey when he ran on slop.
You know, every time that he's ran and won, he's basically either sat on the shoulders or something. No, I thought like he was held up at Newmarket once, but it was Newmarket and it was just like a maiden. But when he's had to race properly, it literally is the only time he's won is when he's been on the shoulder or something, or he's made the running. I think there's a bit of sulk factor. If he doesn't get on the front, it's like, there's a bit of, I don't know. It kind of puts me off a bit.
He says you want to take on Kinross, and then you can go and pick holes in just about everything else. Although I respect your case you've made for Mr. Shelby. Interest. I mean, you can make a Sacred. I mean, she has
Sacred's good.
A bit short, but there's no doubt she's a talented individual. 7 furlongs fast ground after a break. That's
strong pace. Yeah, everything should suit her. Yeah,
that's the sort of thing that she wants. Another one who's good off a break. So there's lots of cases you could make. I mean,
if you look at Sacred's pedigree, and a most impressive performance for me was the Lingfield run on all the all weather. A pedigree is all weather. I think she'd be a phenomenal horse on. But there's no races, is there? No. What do you run her in on the all weather? You can't. So it's a shame because she would be, I think, a £5 to £7 better mare on all weather than she would on turf. Just how it is. But the Lingfield run was spectacular in the spring.
You look at it and you think, I don't want to back Kinross at 3.1. Do I really want to lay in?
Exactly. Yeah, you've summed it up quite well. That's exactly my feeling. I'm not going to lay Kinross. I'm just trying to take on Kinross with something else. If you know what I mean.
Although you can end up with egg on your face sometimes because
of course.
But sort of trying to lay Kinross by sort of dutching 3 or 4 and then something ridiculous goes and wins like Sandrine or Conway or something like that. And you think, I just wish I'd have just laid Kinross then.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I think I'll just play the Shelby. I'll play the Shelby, I think. They just sit nice and handy, not lead, and just sit tracking. That suits York.
Look at the prices. The prices are out of kilter, aren't they?
I think so.
In form terms, they are out of kilter.
Yes. 335 then, the Ebor. Right. Oh, good race this. But it's not a vintage renewal. And me and Nick
had one in the last few years?
I don't know. Have we?
No.
Yeah. But this could be it. I mean, like Nick really likes Real Dream. And yourself, Andy, you've put it up on the show tonight. So we'll talk Real Dream because I think this is the live chance. It's got a wide draw, which I think suits. And people say, well, how can a wide draw suit? I'll tell you why. Because of the watering systems and shit. Because that's what I reckon. I reckon the horses that are drawn wide, I think as long as you stay wide for long enough and then slot in, I don't think there's an issue. It's the ones that maybe then do a quick switch to the inside rail. Well, that's a bad move because stall 1 hasn't had to move. So I reckon it's the wide. That's why the wider stalls have the edge in the staying races at York in big fields. I genuinely believe that. So I'm happy with the draw for Real Dream. And Nick was correct in the anti-post bet. He said Ryan Moore would probably be on this because Coolmore don't have a representative. So again, very shrewd. And so I think, like Andy, like yourself, I think this is still value. Adjuvant comes into reckoning for me because this horse travels so well. ran so well behind Sweet William on ground for me that would have been too soft for this strong traveller at 14 furlongs. So Adjuvant need to mention. Live Your Dream, I still think comes into conclusions off 109. Well, imagine, and I'll put this to you, chaps, right? Imagine Live Your Dream didn't bolt up in that Newmarket Handicap off 104 and goes to the Ebor off 104. What price is Live Your Dream? 3 to 1?
Probably.
Because everyone's raving about the Ascot run. Everyone's saying, Jesus Christ, the fucking Ascot run was incredible. And it's a shame they probably went for that Newmarket Handicap. They probably didn't need to do that. They could have just come straight here. What would it have had? You're £5 less. You're not carrying top weight. I think they might have ruined the chances by doing that, but we'll see. But Live Your Dream's still a contender.
I gave him a big write-up in BTV straight after that Ascot run because he was the real outlier from the draw, wasn't he? But all the idiots saying that the low draws are the best and everything. But
yeah, sure. So this is the thing. This is where we're on the race. I mean, that's my sort of take on it. I wouldn't rule out Yukon Glen in the place markets for anyone playing Betfair. Again, it's after the Lord Mayor's show. People will overwrite him and say, "Oh, I'm not backing Yukon Glen. It's fucking 10," and you'll probably end up with a bit of 5.6, 5.8 in the 4 places. He's the type after the Lord Mayor's show that always stays on late. Great for place pot bets as well. Right, chaps, come on, comment. What do we think?
Well, I think it's definitely to Real Dream's advantage to have been drawn high. I think rivals stay out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a hankering to back Yukon Glen because I've had a hankering to back Yukon Glen all fucking season.
Yeah.
And plus, Big Jim has repeatedly said he didn't want slop this year. Now, I know he's won on slop. He's won on some horrible ground in the past. But Jim seems to think he prefers a quicker surface these days, which, while I find it hard to believe, I can take a degree of comfort from if I am going to back him. One that I have backed, I'm a bit loath to mention him because the price is long since gone that I got, and that is Jack Finbar for Willie Mullins. I'm a bit disappointed with the low draw in 2, but I do get the distinct impression this has been properly laid out for this. And I thought the run the last day was hugely encouraging towards a performance here.
William Buick in the saddle as well, John.
Yeah.
Bit of low draw, 2.
Yeah, it's a worry.
What are we saying about Sweet William? I mean, this is a bastard's horse. We've been edging this bet for the last twice anyway.
It's bad with a low draw, though, isn't it?
It is. Stall 3.
There's going to be a problem at some point, and it's whether you think 7-2 is enough compensation for Rab with a low draw.
I think he's 110, and I've said this on the show previously. He's 99. There'll probably not be many horses with that amount in hand, so that must also be considered.
Yeah.
But I just think if no rain falls this evening or tomorrow afternoon, I'm not so sure that's in his favour, because although he's by Sea the Stars, I said 2 starts ago this horse needed a bit of cut in the ground. He's got quite a round action, and that's been proved in spades because he's thrived.
Do you think the insane cat lady will ask for him to be withdrawn and it's a brutal race?
It's a brutal race, John.
Yeah.
It's a brutal race, and he shouldn't be running in this. In fact,
No.
she might sack Gosden off after this if this is tailed off.
Should we what Gosden off?
No, look at Sergeant Wilson. What did Sergeant Wilson do?
You said sack.
Yeah.
I thought you meant if it won.
No, this is
Let's be fair. It's York, it's the A, but somebody's getting sucked off, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%.
It's the Clinton thing. Sack my cock.
Yeah, sack my cock. Anyway, Sweet William. So this is the thing, right? If this was Lionel and David Menuzzi here, running at the Curragh with Lionel, baby.
Yeah, Gold Cup, wouldn't it, or something like that?
Well, yeah, she took it off him. So that's the thing. I mean, this could be a fallout between. She said it's a brutal race. I'm not. I don't want to run in handicaps, but I'll leave it to the trainer. If this runs shit, she might withdraw horses for him as well.
You never know.
We can live in hope. Anything to add on the Ebor then, gentlemen? Would anybody like to add their thoughts?
Added mine on.
You did. And obviously Nick on Patreon, very keen on Real Dream. Andy also Real Dream. Absurd of the Willie Mullins clan. So we've got bets lined up all over the place there. 4:10 then to finish the show. Running short of time. Summergand is Lang's big bet of the week. Stole 20, John. Is that a problem?
I'm not thrilled, but I'll take it as a pinch.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to cover in terms, like, since you've seen the draw?
Yeah, because it's arsehole bunch of old sprint, as we say out time, isn't it?
What about your bet? Because I need to bring this up, right? You was very confident on tactical at the glorious meeting, but it wasn't glorious. It was heavy,
Yeah.
right? And it's got its ground.
I might have to do something for the sick factor.
You can't let that could be big odds on the machine.
Well, yeah, and, the sick factor weighs heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Mondamed is out, of course, and that's installed too. That's the fitness system, the Anthony Britton system, quick returners.
I'm not a bit worried that I didn't manage to squeeze her on in yesterday.
Well, this is it. He's never won over six. Oh, no, he has won over six fellas. I thought he hadn't. Yeah, he has actually won over six fellas. But this is the Anthony Britton system. If you do, if you do subscribe to Proform, do an Anthony Britton with inside like a short absence. That could be like one of those, just like, ooh. Andy, anything to add on this?
I felt a bit sorry for John Joran still 20 with Summerhand because the horse is in savage form, isn't he?
Savage, yeah.
But it made us, if he'd have got, I think if he'd have got a better draw, he'd have made as short work of this field as we made of those stakes last night.
Hey!
I didn't like the draw for another one who's in good form, Abraham McGold, but I didn't like the draw in stall one. I never liked stall one. I don't know. They get
Coffin draw.
Yeah, get a bit isolated. I didn't think there was a whole heap of pace in this, and I thought Anthem National I think he's a ridiculous price on the machine. It just sort of 60. I might just have to hoover that up in a minute. And if you want to put something up there. And the other one I quite liked was a horse we've mentioned before, down the middle, Al Bashir. Didn't run too badly in the old stewards on slop. When did he finish? 8th of 27 in the end. He's been floating around a while. He's quite nicely handicapped, drawn down the middle. There's a bit of pace there. Mr. Wagyu, Lethal Levi. Might just be one if it doesn't get too far back. So there's not a heap of pace, but it does seem a very slick track this week. And I thought I'd just want to be a little bit more on the front end. But if I hope Summerhand gags up for John. He's an old favourite of mine as well. That's the horse and John. And if I was going to have a couple of pokes at this, Al Bashir and maybe Anthem National at a massive price. I mean, if I think there's probably somebody doing something ridiculous with 7 or 8 places. They would be the two in a race I've not really got a strong opinion on.
No, good stuff. Right, can I run past Nick? Nick, you love a big price, and you love a good jockey and everything else, right? Eras, right? Let me run this past you, right? So Eras, second to Noble Truth on debut, won its maiden, ended up running in the Acom as a 2-year-old. It was 5th to Royal Patronage, Imperial Fighter, July Legend. Very smart horse, a lot of speed, always been highly tried. When has this had its crown, Nick?
Well, probably since it was 3rd to Perfect Power.
Showcasing Exceed and Excel mare. Exactly. You've seen it, right? 6th to Perfect Power. What was that in? the Group 1 Commonwealth Cup. 6 in the Commonwealth Cup behind Perfect Power, Flaming Rib, Floaters, Cadamaster, second to Tiber River. You know, I mean, is this not like possibly an outside case?
Yeah, it's an outside case. The only trouble, Hannon's had it for about 3 years, isn't he now? So.
Yeah, that is also a very good point. Yeah. Good touche there. But yeah, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, especially on the ground. Well, I mean, Mum's Tipple Hannon's had 3 years. It just Mum's Tipple's in better form at the moment. But you know, I can see where you're coming from with that angle.
I just like Ryan Moore booked. It's like that's a massive plus. But yeah, like the draw 16 might not be good. I think we've done enough. I think that's a great show, chaps, and I thank you for your contributions, Nick, Andy, John, and myself, John, and Lorne Malver, Chris Marshall for Rob Davis. We'll be back on Sunday to chew the fat and talk about the week that was. So all from us. Bye for now.